you with all your flooring needs, with brands such as Bow Floors and flooring supplies from Mapei. And let's get started on beautifying your office or home. We even do countertops. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Davis Floor Covering, with 3 locations to serve you: Fort Smith, Springdale, and Tahlequah. Call 452-4808.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Hog Reaction presented by Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, the 4th oldest Ford dealership in America.
Come on, he's tipped up and in! Johnson tipped it in at the buzzer. We're going to overtime.
Hog Reaction is also brought to you by Beckert and Van Buren. Now hiring up to $29 an hour with great benefits. Come fill out an application 24 hours a day at Exit 3 off Interstate 40. Lark, a full spectrum seltzer from Washita Farms. Log on at larkhemp.com. Choose me over meth. See meovermeth.com for more information. And Zelli Pasta. Join the Pasta Club at zellipasta.com. That's Z-E-L-L-I pasta.com.
We're going to talk some more Arkansas basketball as we're live from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. But I did want to mention this tidbit from the football program. This is from One Arkansas NIL, that they are proud to announce the re-signing of KJ Jefferson for quarterback in 2023. We've seen his ability and leadership on the field and look forward to his impact and profile uplifting the entire state of Arkansas. That was, I think, Friday that they made this announcement. So, I mean, I don't think a lot of people expected. I at least floated the idea out there that there would be some recruitment done from Kendall Briles to Fort Worth for KJ. I don't know if this 100% solidifies they stay in Fayetteville, but it definitely gives you more a concrete idea that he is going to be quarterback for the Razorbacks this upcoming football season. A football season that I know that many are questioning what it's going to turn out to be with the Dan Enos hire and the hiring of Travis Williams, but something that we have to look forward to this year. Christian, when you rank the 3 major sports, I know you played baseball growing up, but are you a football, baseball, basketball guy? Like, how do you stack up the 3?
It's funny. I was a baseball guy growing up. I did play a little basketball, and I did play a little football when I was younger. But when it comes to watching, I love watching football. I mean, it's just nothing like it. And then, obviously, basketball has its very exciting moments. You can't beat March Madness. And baseball's a little slower paced. But, I grew up playing it. When you're playing it, it's not as slow paced as it would be if you're watching it. So, football season, it's hard to beat, just everybody's playing on the same day. It's just, you don't get as many games. I just think that aspect of it makes it more exciting to me.
We do have a lot of football to look forward to this week in divisional round. Matt Jones was talking about at halftime yesterday his favorite sports weekend of the year. He even ranked it above the first and second day of the NCAA tournament. Matt, not only we know him as a great college player, but loves the National Football League as well. His former team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, trying to do something special, traveled to KC and Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes and company. Christian, Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks in his last game, still found a way to win. You throw 4 picks today, you're losing by 40 against the Chiefs.
Oh, without a doubt, especially at Arrowhead. That crowd's going to be very loud. I know Trevor Lawrence doesn't think it's going to be as loud as, the Jacksonville faithful, but I have a feeling he's going to be proved wrong today. That doesn't mean the Jaguars cannot keep it close. They might play pretty well, and he's going to have to match Mahomes offensively. Their defense is going to have to play pretty well to keep that Kansas City offense at bay. I look forward to it because it's playoff football. The stakes are high, everything's on the line. You just love this time of the year. NFL, got the Eagles Giants tonight, and then you got a couple of games tomorrow. So obviously I'm a Cowboy fan, but I just like watching this everybody play when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a really fun weekend. Jags and Chiefs, they kick it off at 3:30 on NBC. Now, the game tonight are two teams that the majority of our audience hates. I've got a really good friend from Philadelphia, so he is Bird Nation. He is on the Bird game tonight as they host the New York Football Giants and Daniel Jones that are hot. I mean, they go into Minnesota and beat Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, winners of the NFC North this year, in a great game. Now they got to go beat, and I'll say this, Jalen Hurts, to me, I don't think he's fully healthy. When he's healthy, I think this team is easily in the NFC Championship. But with him being hurt tonight, I think this is going to be a much closer football game, Christian.
Yeah, I do too. And obviously I don't like the Eagles, but, man, they've just played very well this year. And it just seems like they have all the tools to be successful. It just comes down to Jalen Hurts, if he's able to be his normal self. And because that offense is great, that defense is great. They should win tonight, but we know how the playoffs are. Sometimes the underdog can surprise you. And, it's weird. I'm not 100% sold on the Eagles, but I know they're very talented. I know they're capable of going to the Super Bowl. We'll just have to see tonight. If they put the Giants to bed early, I think they can go on a run. And obviously the Cowboys would have to beat the 49ers, and they can match up. So that would be very interesting, to say the least. But I'm pulling for the Giants tonight. I think it's obvious why. I just think they have the tools to go on the road and win, maybe catch Philly sleeping a little bit.
And they've done it once already. Who's to say that they couldn't do it again under Brian Dable, who, by the way, coached Jalen Hurts in college, if you remember that, at Alabama. Now, here's the best game of the weekend. No disrespect to Cowboy and Kansas City Chiefs fans. It's the Bengals and Bills. There was a customer earlier here in a Bengals hat, and I was asking him what he thought about tomorrow. He said it's going to be a great game. You've got two of the best bright young stars in the National Football League in Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. Burrow's coming off a Super Bowl appearance years ago, not 3 years ago. He was in the national championship after the 2019 season. This guy has every bit of the it factor. Doesn't have three offensive linemen, though, Christian, and the Bills are going to be getting in his grill all night. The
Bengals earlier this season did not look like they were going to be able to make it back to the Super Bowl, and obviously they've got some work to do, but they're on the right track. And I think, with Joe Burrow as your quarterback, the Bengals will be just fine. And back-to-back years in the playoffs. He got to the Super Bowl as a rookie, I believe, last year. He's got a tough task going on the road to play at Buffalo and deal with the Bills Mafia. And obviously, Josh Allen's a great quarterback. It's a time for Josh Allen to also prove himself as well and solidify himself as that great quarterback and that one that can get to the Super Bowl and maybe even win it.
Well, I think you're going to be fortunate in the AFC Championship either way, because I just can't see a scenario where Trevor Lawrence and company go into Jacksonville. You get Joe Burrow or Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that is an NFL executive's dream, a television executive's dream, that you've got two of the best young quarterbacks in the league matching up in one of your conference championship games. That's either way. Again, no disrespect to Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, the Jags, but they don't have what it takes to win an Arrowhead this afternoon. So you got that matchup to look forward to next weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Jaguars are kind of the only team left that's, I guess, sort of like the Cinderella team. They got fortunate last week. The Chargers were up 27-0, but you got to credit Jacksonville for coming back and beating the odds there. Jacksonville doesn't make it this far in the playoffs very often, so I'm sure their fans are pumped up and hoping that they can see a monumental upset today in the playoffs.
And I saved the best for last, Christian. Your Dallas Cowboys going to try and go to San Francisco in the playoffs once again. I know they lost that wild card game last year. This was such a fun NFC matchup in the 90s. There's no Walsh. There's no Young. There's no Montana. There's no Smith. There's no Aikman. There's no Irvin. There's no Johnson. But there's some good football players like Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa on display tomorrow night in primetime.
Oh, for sure. And you love to see Cowboys 49ers. Last year was a great game, very physical, pretty disappointing if you're a Cowboys fan on how that turned out. But I think, I don't know, this year feels a little different. It feels like you're playing a little better than maybe you were last year at this point. pretty impressive win against Tampa Bay last week. 49ers are a very tough team, and you got to go to San Francisco. They've got a lot of weapons on offense, and obviously their defense is very good. So Cowboys have what it takes, I think. It's just, can they put it together? Dak's going to have to play similar to what he did last week. He's going to have to limit his mistakes, can't throw interceptions, and, just hope you get a little luck on your side and pull out a W.
Speaking of put it together, the Razorbacks put it together today in a 69-57 final. I know our colleague Chuck Barrett's going to be mighty happy. He got an early game. The Hogs won. He's got the rest of the day to watch some NFL football and his Dallas Cowboys tomorrow as well. When we return, we'll jump back into what we saw inside of Bud Walton Arena today on Hog Reaction live from Randall Ford.
You're listening to Hog Reaction presented by Randall Ford.
Try something new at your tailgate or watch party this year with Lark, a full-spectrum seltzer brought to you by Ouachita Farms. You can catch a buzz without the booze since Lark is infused with just the right balance of hemp-derived THC and CBD. Lark comes in 4 great flavors like strawberry, guava, mango, grapefruit, berry, and all are free of all the bad stuff like sugar, carbs, calories, and alcohol. Find Lark at your local adult beverage store or have it shipped to your doorstep from larkhemp.com. That's larkhemp.com. Must be 21 to consume Lark.
Checking out the inventory out front at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. It may be a little chilly outside, but don't let that stop you from looking at your next vehicle, whether it's new or pre-owned. Shop us online at randallford.com. Simply stop by and see our selection today at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Randall Ford, local. Randall Ford, loyal. Come see us today at Randall Ford in Fort Smith.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on. Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
Tax season is here. There is no need to fear the IRS. A1 Tax Service can help you get the largest tax refund legally possible, and you can get your tax refund advance up to $6,000 with no upfront fees, saving you money over the national chains. A1 Tax Service has the experience you need, locally owned and open year-round. Walk-ins welcome. Set your appointment. Call 484-7686 or come by 6901 Dallas Street at the corner of 70th and Dallas. A1 Tax Service.
At Crane Used Cars on 71 South, it's a new year, and Joe Pulliam, dealer-operator, has bigger and better deals for 2023. Like up to $2,023 more for your trade. That's right, up to $2,023 over Black Book. With a great selection of certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, all backed by the Crane Commitment. 100-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Joe knows customer service with a 5-star rated service before and after the sale. So come see Joe at the Crane Used Car Supercenter, 8200 Highway 71 South, Fort Smith.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Hog Reaction presented by Randall Ford.
Hogs are on the move. Council to Graham, and wow, what a throwdown.
Hog Reaction is also brought to you by Beckart and Van Buren, Zelly Pasta in Springdale, Choose Me Over Meth, and Lark by Washita Farms.
All right, let's jump back into Razorback basketball live from Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, the best of the best new car dealer and the best of the best body shop with over 200 vehicles here on the ground. You need to stop by and see us here at Randall Ford. Again, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Ty Richardson, Christian Johnson making his debut, doing a great job here for ESPN Arkansas. Christian, what else stands out to you about this game and a 69-57 win over Ole Miss?
Well, it just getting back in the win column. I think when you're winning, obviously you have a better taste of just of what's going on. You're not as negative about things, and obviously the 4-game losing streak doesn't go away, and obviously it hurts you. But I think just getting a win today against a team that, you should beat, but just actually seeing them get it done today and close out a game, I think it's going to help them against LSU. Practice is going to be better. The mood is going to be better in practice, and I think that's important right now.
I guarantee you no one's happier than Danielle Musselman because Eric has probably not been pleasant to be around. I'm not pleasant to be around after Arkansas basketball losses, and I guarantee if I'm like that, he's worse. We've heard him talk about he's worse. So the Musselman household might have a little more chipper and cheer tonight.
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah, as you said, Danielle Musselman, she's got to live with him. So we just see him in, the press conferences and on the court. And when he's not happy, we all know it. So, but winning does help a lot of those feelings. And obviously he's still got some work to do with this team. It's not a finished product, but it helps to get a win, and that's where it starts, really.
Our number is 877-377-6963 via call, via text if you want to hop on with me and Christian later this afternoon. We're going to be probably going till about 3:30 today. We'll come back and we'll talk as we get closer to the Kansas City Chiefs and Jacksonville Jaguars game. Touch on some other SEC action. I'm going to update our audience in just a sec on what's going on with that Kentucky and Texas A&M game, because that's the one game of the day outside of Alabama and Missouri that I was really, really going to keep an eye on, because I feel like that's a game that's going to have some consequence in the Southeastern Conference. It's still tight with 8:14 to go. Kentucky leads 56-53 over the Aggies in Lexington. Again, Texas A&M with not a single conference loss to this point. Don't have a single blemish on their conference resume. Well, Kentucky might give them one today, Christian.
Yeah, and, obviously they beat Tennessee. Kind of surprising. They went on the road and got it done right when we were starting to kind of bury the Wildcats, and they start winning again. So maybe Calipari is the guy to stay at Kentucky, and obviously, with the talent they have, they're never out of a game. They're never really a true underdog. But yeah, if they can get another win against a good Texas A&M team, I hate to say it, but the Wildcats may have something to say about the SEC this year.
You've got the other SEC game in action, Auburn at South Carolina in Columbia. The Tigers are up 16-9 early with under 10 minutes to go in that first half. Auburn's always going to be a team, I say always, they're a team this year that definitely plays a lot better at home than on the road. Now, most teams are like that. I get that. But they're not in that Alabama category just yet. And I think Alabama has separated itself. Like Tommy does the Pradco Pyramid of Power. Alabama is on its own separate tier because the way they play offense and defense. Tennessee is a really good defensive team, but they're not as potent offensively because they don't have guys like Clowney and Miller that Nate Oates has at his disposal, Christian.
Yeah, and Tennessee's always, even in past years when they've had good teams known for their defense, they had some good players in the Schofield days. I remember they were really good on offense, but this year they hang their hat on their defense, and they're 15-3, 5-1 in conference. So you know that they're going to, probably stake their claim this year. It's just what happens when they kind of get in a slump on offense. Is their defense going to carry them every game? That's kind of what I'm wondering about the Tennessee Volunteers, because you know what you're going to get on defense, but it's, like you said, not always so clear on offense.
When you look at the net rankings right now, Arkansas still has a pretty solid net ranking. I was thinking it would drop pretty heavily. You're still inside the top 30. Now, you've got to start winning some games to stay in that area and to keep moving down. And when I say down, up, however you want to say it, I guess up is probably the proper terminology here. That's not bad at all. And with the Razorbacks, again, have going on that losing streak and not playing great basketball to be where you are, you're still in a really good position because the quality of teams. The SEC is not the Big 12, but it's still a really good basketball conference at the top half of the league.
Oh, for sure. You've got a lot of good teams. And like you said, Alabama does stand out right now just because of the total body of work they have. They've got a great coach. They've got great players on offense, and they can D it up with the best of them. So right now, it looks like it's their division or their conference to win. And Tennessee, again, Auburn's starting to come along. Kentucky's starting to come along. I just don't think you've seen the last out of Arkansas yet. I think they're going to go on a run here.
Yeah, and I think the coaches in this league know that. There's not going to be any disrespecting of this basketball team in press conferences or questions because they would be foolish to. And there's still the one key or the one question, if you will, about what's going to happen with Nick Smith Jr. And I'm not just talking about playing time, but if he comes back and if he plays, what kind of impact can we have? If you look at games this season, he had that one outburst, and I'm not talking about an angry outburst. I'm talking about a scoring outburst against, was it San Jose State?
Yeah,
Christian?
Yeah, he did light it up against them. He showed his offensive skill set in that game. You'd like to see that level of play when he comes back, if he comes back, for sure, because this team needs that on offense.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that every single game. But you will have, I think, at points sometimes he can go off for 20-plus. Nick's going to also stretch the floor shooting. He's not the best defender. He's like the other true freshman on this basketball team. They're still trying to adjust. Jordan, when he doesn't foul, is the best freshman defender on this basketball team. I'd probably put Darian Ford at number 2. The other guys are still trying to figure it out. And with him not playing these last few games, these other guys, as Tommy likes to say, are not necessarily true freshmen as much anymore because the minutes they played. You still are by rule, but you've played so many minutes it doesn't feel like that as much. I want to see when it gets tight, if Nick does return, what kind of impact he can have late in clutch free throw shooting, clutch shooting, and then also what he does on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, and the biggest thing when he comes back, I just want to see if how much that opens up the offense, how much space that creates, because obviously, with Brazile being out, you miss that, but you're not getting him back. You might get Nick Smith back, so that in itself, I believe, will help this offense take a little pressure off some of the other players, make them maybe feel like the pressure's not all on them, and they can take, give some of that to Nick Smith. And we've got LSU and then Baylor. I don't think we'll have him back by Baylor, but that's not a must-win game. But if you can get that Baylor win, I think that can really springboard the season in a positive direction.
I think they just tipped off like right now with the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman, so that'll be a game to kind of keep an eye on. I know not many of you watch Baylor basketball. Why would you? I think Baylor Brad's one of the only few people that listens to this show that does that. But I just kind of wanted to get a sense of what this Baylor basketball team was. They went on a struggle. They got outside the top 25, and then they've won 3 conference games and are now back in the top 25. So we'll see what they do against the Sooners this afternoon as Arkansas again comes closer. We're going to be down there, by the way. Just want to let everyone know next week we will be live from Waco doing the postgame here on Hog Reaction. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think I've been to the Farrell Center. Maybe I've been once. But I think this game, it'll be highly contested in the Richardson household. I had to watch Baylor beat Arkansas 2 years ago in Indianapolis in the Elite Eight game. Hopefully that does not happen again, Christian.
Yeah, the last time you played Baylor, didn't end well, but it was a great season that year. I was at a watch party at Bud Walton Arena, so that was very fun. This time around, I think we can compete with Baylor. I think we've got the talent to compete with Baylor. It's just whether or not are we going to go on those offensive lulls, as you say. You got to avoid that against Baylor on the road. You've got to be able to match them point for point.
Yeah, I think that Arkansas is going to find that on the road defensively it's still going to be there, but teams are still going to always shoot better at home, so you're going to have to match that. Now, this game today, we've been talking about what Arkansas needs to do to win games. Typically, if you limit your opponent to under 60, there's a good chance you're going to win. What happened today? Ole Miss was under 60. They won the basketball game. So, and again, Ole Miss is, if I look them up on KenPom, I guarantee you they're going to be really, really bad offensively relative. There's a reason. I don't know if Kermit Davis is going to be there next year. They have not been good under him in Oxford. No disrespect, but it's just the reality of the situation. Offensively, there's a lot of red. They're outside the top 10 of the 14 teams in a lot of different categories offensively. So if you can do this against some better competition, like when you go to Tuscaloosa, if you can limit Brandon Miller like you did, when you play Baylor, they have some guards that can play. Kentucky, can you stop Oscar Tshiebwe? I mean, these are remaining questions you got to answer in these remaining conference games.
Definitely. There's, like I said, the schedule doesn't get any easier. This next game, in my opinion, is winnable. I know I've been saying that. You got to get that. And then, Muss said it earlier this year, you could take any 4-game stretch of this schedule and call it the toughest of the year. So you just would like to see them playing good basketball when they do get into a tough stretch like that, and maybe even have Nick Smith back as well.
He'd love to have Nick Smith back. We'll have to wait and see if he ends up coming back. All right, we're live here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. This is Hog Reaction.
You're listening to Hog Reaction presented by Randall Ford.
Checking out the inventory out front at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. It may be a little chilly outside, but don't let that stop you from looking at your next vehicle, whether it's new or pre-owned. Shop us online at randallford.com. Simply stop by and see our selection today at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Randall Ford, local. Randall Ford, loyal. Come see us today at Randall Ford in Fort Smith.
Zelli Pasta is a family-owned shop at 809 East Emma Avenue, Unit D in Springdale, and they make all organic pasta with grains grown and milled in North America. Extruded through bronze ties, custom-made in Italy, which gives it texture allowing sauce to stick to the pasta. They have everything you need for perfect pasta at home, including fresh sauces. And you can pre-order lasagna and stuffed shells for pickup and enjoy homemade ravioli every Saturday. Join the Pasta Club for something new to try every month. Get delivery now. Log on to zellipasta.com. That's ZELLI. Pasta.com. Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresinc.com. That's gray with an A.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
A new year means it's time for new work boots, work shoes, safety shoes, casual shoes, fishing shoes, hiking boots, and cowboy boots. Gelco Outdoors has the largest selection and the best brands, ready to make your feet feel happy in the new year. Crappie fishermen, Gelco is stocking up for the spring season. Come check out the gear. 50% off clothing on the clearance rack, loaded with New Year savings. Gelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
In this crazy world with all of the inflation, there's one place you can lock in your price for 3 years. That's by making the move to Dish with World of Wireless.
Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Serving the River Valley since 1995. That's almost 27 years now. Installing Dish, installing satellite systems, taking care of your home automation products. Less than $80 a month. We can get you installed with Dish. I had a customer the other day that their streaming service, Fubo, went up to $85 a month, and he's switching back to traditional TV. So as those streaming services go up, Dish is locking you in for 3 years, price guaranteed.
Now, this is the price that's locked in for 3 years, but your commitment's only 2 years with Dish.
That's correct. Have you ever heard a company do that?
No.
No, nobody's ever done that. So 2-year commitment, 3-year price guarantee. Bring any mailer in that you have, and we will honor any mailer. We're giving away $100 Visa gift cards when you sign up for new service.
3-year price guarantee with Dish and World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH for WOW, World of Wireless.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Hog Reaction presented by Randall Ford.
Hogs are on the move. Council to Graham, and wow, what a throwdown.
Hog Reaction is also brought to you by Beckert and Van Buren, Zelly Pasta in Springdale, Choose Me over Meth, and Lark by Washita Farms.
500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. We're going to hear from Coach Musselman following the 69-57 win coming up in just a bit. But first, we want to talk to our friend Dalton here at Randall Ford. Dalton, we always really appreciate you guys having us out for the post game. You guys got a lot of things going on to kick off 2023. 0% and a $1,000 rebate on Explorers, F-150s, and Escapes.
Yeah, we've got a lot of inventory in for the first time in probably over a year. And we've got 12 Bronco Sports. I think they're running 3.9% for 60 months, and we're ready to make some deals on those.
Yeah, and you also have got 1.9 plus $1,000 off the Mustang. You mentioned the new vehicles, over 60 on the lot right now, new ones. It's a lot of inventory that you guys just brought in.
It's a lot of inventory. You've got a lot more coming in too. So even if we don't have it right now, we'll have it here soon.
And listen, when you think about just reputation, in the River Valley. You guys have been here 115 years. That's a lot older than you and I, man. There's a lot more people that have been through this dealership that have made deals and gone away happy.
Yeah, we take care of our customers. That's the most important thing to us. And you don't stick around for, over 100 years by not doing that.
Yep, the fact that you guys are the best of the best new car dealer and you have the best body shop means that when it comes to not only selection but the customer service aspect, you take care of the people listening right now.
Absolutely.
I just saw it started raining outside. I was hoping we'd get some better weather today, but it doesn't look like we have that in front of us, Dalton.
Nope, that's all right, though.
All right, well, Don, we appreciate it, man. Again, Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Come by and see Dalton. Come by and see Jimmy. Come by and see Bryce. Come by and see everyone here, Billy, the whole crew here, Jimmy, everyone else here at Randall Ford. All right, let's hear what Eric Musselman had to say coming up in just a bit. Again, if you want to call or text in, you're more than welcome. 877-377-6963. I know he was really happy after the game relative to what he is. There's still some things, coaches are. I mean, they're always going to be nitpicky. They're always going to be selective. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. But Christian, listening to him after the game, overall, he seemed like he was happier than he definitely has been after these losses.
Yeah, definitely, and he said it in the post game press conference, and we're going to hear about that in just a second. So, yeah, it just after a win, the overall attitude around the team, the fans, you just feel a lot better going into the next game and about what's the team's potential going forward. It just helps.
You can beat LSU. You absolutely can beat the Tigers next week. That's a team that's reeling, kind of like you were. You get back-to-back wins, and it's kind of weird how it's set up, the fact that you're interrupting conference play, going to play the Baylor Bears. That's a team that, again, has a big game against the Sooners that just started. We'll give you an update on kind of what's going on there. But, yeah, Christian, you've got Coach talking about his team mindset earlier. Let's hear what he had to say, Coach Musselman, after the game.
I mean, I can tell you that the mental makeup of our team right now is better than it was 3.5 hours ago. As we all know, on Tuesday night, that game is going to have its own theme. It's going to have its own identity.
Remember, Coach said after the game, Jordan told us after the game that Coach is like, yeah, every game from here on out is our Super Bowl. Now, some may say, well, that's putting too much pressure on the guys. Yo, the pressure's there. They're not an NCAA tournament team. If the NCAA tournament selection show was Sunday, this team would not be in it. They know the pressure's there. They need to be told that. And Muss and his coaching staff, they're going to get them ready. We talk about the scouting reports. You've even had players after the game that's like, yeah, we knew this team was going to do this. We knew this guy was going to do this because our coaches told us. We just didn't execute. I mean, this team is one of the most over-prepared teams in the country, game in, game out. It's just a matter of, can they follow the game plan? Can they not commit turnovers? Can they hit their free throws? And can they finish these games? You didn't really have to finish today. I know that Ole Miss went on that 11-1 run kind of late in the second half, but this game was really never in doubt. When the game gets tight, let's say it gets tight against LSU next week or gets tight on the road against Baylor, can this team finish maybe for the first time all season long in a tough game?
Yeah, you didn't get a lot of pressure put on you today of relinquishing that lead. It got a little shaky towards the end of the game, but it never really felt like they lost control of the game. I think against LSU, you'll see a lot more back and forth. They're going to go on a run. We're going to go on a run. And if we do find ourselves towards the end of the game with like a 10-point lead, I'd be interested to see if we can hold that.
Yeah, you get LSU next Tuesday night, ESPN2 at 6 o'clock. It's the next game, so it kind of comes up quick on you. And I say they finished against San Diego State. We know how fun that game was. They almost had Creighton earlier this season. I'm talking about conference play. I'm talking about the meat, the grind, the intensity of SEC basketball, which hasn't always been that way. I think every one of you know that, much more than I do. I've been watching SEC basketball since I've been alive. Most of you listening right now have watched it far beyond that. And you know that wasn't always the case. And so now, with the SEC being what it is, you can't even overlook a team like Ole Miss, who Christian frankly brought it today. And I wonder how differently this game would be if Matthew Morrell had not gotten injured and been out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think it would have obviously helped their case a little bit, put a little more pressure on the defense for Arkansas. But I think today it just felt like Arkansas was going to win. Like I said, Ole Miss, they did hang around for most of the first half and some of the second half, but it just never felt like they were going to go on this big run that we couldn't come back from. And I think part of that is just Ole Miss not being a very great team, and a lot of it goes to Arkansas and the way they played today. Obviously, we've said this, the competition is going to ratchet up almost with each game. So it's good for your confidence to get a win, but, the work is still ahead of you.
Here's my stat from the game today. Jordan Walsh, for the first time in his young Razorback career, played all 40 minutes. Jordan had a solid game today, just like Joseph Pena. Efficient. 13 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Knocked down 2 of 4 3-pointers. 7 rebounds. Jordan at 6'7" with his wingspan, and I think it's kind of like Moses. I think it's either close to 7 feet or it's right at it, whatever it is. He's got that defensive mentality. Now, we saw Moses last year. His basketball IQ 2 years ago was off the charts for a true freshman. Jordan has some basketball IQ. It's just there's times that he puts himself in bad situations and uses his hand, uses his arms when he should just be sliding his feet and letting his frame do the work. If he can play for 40 minutes, guys, he played 13 minutes on Wednesday night against Missouri and still had that type of impact in 13 minutes. Think about the impact. If you're Jordan Walsh, how critical you are for this team. Even if you're not scoring 20-plus points, Christian, he is such a factor for this basketball team.
I mean, you're exactly right. Jordan Walsh, with that size, just the way he plays, that athleticism, the ability to knock down the three, the ability to cut baseline and get a bucket. It's just you have to have that on your team if you can, and you want him to be able to stay out of foul trouble, and he did that today. He does no good for you on the bench. So once he's out there, you want to maximize his potential, and it just makes your whole team better.
Yeah. Here's the other stat that stands out to me. Anthony Black on Wednesday, him and Devo combined for 11 turnovers. AB had 8 assists and 2 turnovers. A 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio you take every single time, especially for a true freshman. He's top 5 in the SEC right now in assists. Needs to cut down his turnovers a little bit. I like this mentality also scoring. 7 for 17. That's not a bad shooting percentage at all at 17, slightly under 20. That is going to be also very, very critical for this basketball team. Anthony, he's not handling the ball as much as he was at the beginning of the season. Devo Davis is often bringing the ball up some, and they're getting him in some off-ball actions. But when he is getting to the rim, when he is making those passes, he's got to be very smart with the basketball, and he was on point today.
Yeah, I think that's more of his style, getting everyone else involved. Whenever he's got the ball in his hand and he has to make a play, you could tell it's a little out of his comfort zone. Not that he's not capable of doing it. We've seen him make plenty of plays this year, but you can tell at times when the offense kind of breaks down and he tries to make a play, it doesn't always end well. But like I said, he's very valuable to this team, and he just makes everybody better when he can get everyone involved.
I've noticed this in the last 2 games, they have not been as demonstrative. They have not been as outspoken. Now, it's very difficult when you don't think a foul is a foul and you just stay silent, but it hasn't been as outlandish and stuff. I was talking to a friend about this last night who's a Morning Rush listener and an ESPN Arkansas listener, and the idea that I think Tommy said earlier this week that AB kind of has a target on his back with officials. This basketball team, you guys know the old, boy cried wolf thing. This basketball team has complained a lot at points this season. Coach, player, staff, bench. And so there are times when they're going to complain at points this season, and they're not going to be taken seriously. It's like, oh, you complain about this, complain about that. I have noticed they've toned that down a little bit the last 2 games.
Yeah, and, sometimes the refs will make a bad call here and there, and it does seem like there's something out against you at some points as a fan standpoint, but at some points it just kind of gets old. You just, let the refs mess up a call and move on, and look at yourself in the mirror and maybe look at why the game was as close as it was, or how you could have made the situation better, opposed to just blaming the refs. And I'm not saying that the team and Musselman just constantly bash the refs or anything, but I just think this team's really talented, and the refs don't have as much of an imprint into the game as people might think. They can sometimes take over the game, it seems like. But I just think Arkansas, as long as they play their game they'll have a shot to win. And you saw that today. The refs really weren't a factor because of how well the team played all around.
Yeah, 16 fouls, I think, total was what Arkansas ended up the game. That's also on the Razorbacks. Don't foul on defense. Be physical, but you've got to have your hands up, not into your opponent. And I know it's a lot different from when Nolan was coaching back in the day. Little update for you when it comes to SEC basketball. Kentucky still up 4 on A&M, 140 to go, 67-63. Auburn started to pull away from South Carolina. They lead 39-22 at the half. And the Tennessee-LSU game getting going with about 8 minutes in. Tennessee's up 10-7. Up on the Tigers of LSU. When you look at the SEC standings right now, Alabama is up top at 6-0, A&M at 5-0. That could be a blemish record when they leave Lexington. And then you've got Auburn and Tennessee at 5-1. A lot of 3-3 teams, y'all. Missouri, Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, and Vanderbilt. And then Arkansas sits alone at 2-5. South Carolina, LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss at the bottom of that list. So there's a lot of ground that you can make up for that second and third tier. Hopefully a win on Tuesday night will help you get closer to that point, Christian.
Oh, I think a win on Tuesday night is huge. Obviously some ground to catch up in conference. 2-5 is a little bit, put you a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I think you get the win against LSU. You're 3-5 in conference. You play Baylor. That could be a potential, even more of a momentum booster right there if you're able to get a win on the road at Baylor. And then you resume conference play. You play A&M, another tough team that I think you can beat if you just stay true to your identity. Play good defense. Hit a couple threes here and there. Just keep the game close. Muck it up, as I know you've said, and I've heard other people say. Just muck it up.
Yeah, it's the old Virginia basketball, Tony Bennett. I mean, Tony Bennett and company won a national championship playing some of the most boring basketball I've ever watched my entire life. But do you think Cavalier fans are mad at that? No, they're not. Is this team going to win a national championship? Probably not. But they can still get to the NCAA tournament. It's not the prettiest basketball. Y'all, look at the last 2 years. So 2 years ago, in Moses Moody and company, you had the best offense in the SEC. Mm-hmm. Last year, you didn't have that. Now, you had some guys that could fill it up, like J.D. Note, and then you had a great cast around him. But go to their NCAA tournament wins. I mean, the first 2 games were horrid to watch if you just like the game of basketball. But guess what? They won them both, and they did on defense. And then they beat Gonzaga with defense. This team has always had a defensive identity under Muss. It's 2 years ago, it's just coupled with a really good offense. This team is going to have to hone more in on that defense identity, Christian.
Yeah, you really do. And they say defense wins championships. I don't know if we'll be winning a national championship this year, but it's good to have that to fall back on. If the offense is struggling a little bit, I think just with the defensive pressure that Arkansas puts on teams, I think you'll never say, oh, they have no shot to win this game. It's just falls on the offense. What are we going to get out of the offense? And today we saw a little bit of what that offense is capable of doing.
Yeah, you just got to, again, it's taking the positives and moving into the next game. You shouldn't have lost to LSU. That LSU loss was a bad loss. Go win on Tuesday night. Get a little revenge. Missouri got revenge on you on Wednesday. Get some revenge on the LSU Tigers. This is not a Dale Brown, Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Jackson. That's not that LSU team. It's not Tyrus Thomas. They don't have any guys that you're just like freaking out about. You should win this basketball game on Tuesday, period. Get the revenge on Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's like I said, just getting revenge, kind of getting the bad taste out of your mouth. You felt like that was I know a lot of fans, including me, you felt like that was a winnable game on the road, just didn't go quite the way we wanted it to at the end. And I know the officials kind of had their say at the end, but I just think here at home, Bud Walton, I think the fans are going to sense the importance of this game. Today was a big game, but I think the LSU game is even bigger because they just get bigger as the season goes forward. And LSU is a good team, but not a team that Arkansas cannot beat.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, that's going to do it here for us on Hog Reaction. Really appreciate everyone joining us today live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. We're also brought to you by Beckert and Van Buren. Beckert is now hiring up to $29 an hour with great benefits. Apply 24 hours a day at Exit 3 off I-40 in Van Buren at Beckert. Zelli Pasta in Springdale. Join the Pasta Club. That's ZELLI Pasta.com. Choose me over meth. See meovermeth.com for more information. And Lark, a full-spectrum seltzer from Washita Farms. Log on at larkhemp.com. For Christian Johnston, I'm Ty Richardson. Everyone have a fantastic Saturday. Hogs and Tigers, Tuesday, 6 o'clock in Bud Walton Arena.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S.